Hi, I'm going to show you how to run the Pandas Python package on the kebnekaise HPC cluster as part of this course using Python in an HPC environment as taught by these centers. At the end of this session we will have read the documentation of how to find and load Pandas. Well, I'll tell you why it's important, how to use it, and we're going to run some Python code that uses Pandas. And I'm only focusing on the HPC part. That's the minimal that I'm talking about. It's part, the course has the word HPC in it. So I'm not going to use Pandas much. I will show you what it can do, but I will stop when there's no more Linux or HPC specific things anymore. So you'll see halfway this exercise, saving a table or reading a comma separate file. This is halfway where I will stop. The rest you can do on any computer. Good. What is Pandas? Well, on the homepage there's a very long definition, but of course it is open source and it's a data analysis and manipulation tool. Let's give an example. So here I have some data. This is data you can find on the internet. I found this somewhere on the internet. We see some countries, we see some numbers here, that the columns have a number, and then in the cells we have also some numbers. We don't know what these column names mean. We can guess that they are years. As humans we have this gut feeling. We don't know what these numbers is. And this data is called white data or messy data. Characteristics are that there are multiple measurements on one line. And you see we need to guess here what is what. And this won't work very nicely when you want to do some plotting. Instead, this is how this data should be looking like. So this is so-called tidy data. Here we can see that the country is indeed a country. These numbers indeed were the years. These numbers that were at the row, that were the headers, those were indeed years. And these values in the main cells, they were apparently democracy levels. Right, and this data is tidy because it has only one observation or one measurement per row. It's also called long data. And this is easier to work with plotting. Well, now Pandas comes in. It allows you to convert this table to that table. Here we read our data from a file, from a comma separated file, and here we converted it from the wide form to the long form. The verb is called melting. We melted it on the country. We melted the data on the country. And then we get this. Sure, you can do this by hand, but you can also just use Pandas. So Pandas can do a lot of other things. So let's take a look at the Pandas cheat sheet, just to give you an overview of the thousands of things it can do. So this is the Pandas data cheat sheet. It describes what tidy data is, how to create data yourself from hand, how to reshape data. Here we see the word melt. This is what happened. The other way is pivoting. It's from long to wide. But you can also select observations based on rows or per column or on both. How to group data and how to summarize data. This is super useful to do. How to handle missing data. There are so many things. I'm just going to go and input and output reading a CSV file, for example. Good, so this is an overview of what Pandas can do, and can probably do even more. But this shows you why Pandas is important. It's a very popular Python package that allows you to work with data, and it gives you a vocabulary and also the Python functions to do so. For example, the verb to pivot is not specific to Pandas or to Python. In R, for example, it's another programming language. Pivot is also used as the same verb. So you can talk with other scientists what you have been doing to your data, or what needs to be done to your data. Let's take a look at the exercises. Exercise 1, minimal code, and exercise 2, reading and saving comma separate files. Sure. Step 1, use the documentation of the HPC cluster you work on. For this I'm going to move this window to the left. There I'm going to start a new window, and we're using kebnekaise here, kebnekaise HPC2N user documentation. Let's take a look if we can find it. There we have it. Here we have the documentation of HPC2N. This is the center that maintains kebnekaise. In that documentation, find the software module to load the Pandas package. No, sure, we're going to search Pandas. And here we see a specific page for it. Let's take a look. Pandas is a fast, powerful, and easy to use. Pandas part of the module SciPy bundle. See this for more information. Let's take a look. Good. There's a link to it. This is great. And now we need to load. Oh, here it is. How to load the SciPy bundle. This is great. This is perfect. So that's the documentation. Let's take a look if the answer matches this. So Cosmos indeed. Module load SciPy bundle. So apparently this is good enough. And maybe this Python version does not need to be there. So I'm going to test out this line of code to see if that works. This is what the documentation says, and if not, this is known to work too. Oh, we're on kebnekaise. Alright, so on kebnekaise. This is the suggestion, and you see that there's more stuff behind it. This does not need to be there according to documentation. So I'm going to try the documentation first, and then I'm going to try my solution second. You see that there are some different versions too. So this is what we're going to do. Good. On your HPC, so now we need to load this module. So let's copy paste these lines to kebnekaise. I have her open. Control Shift. Let's make this one line. There. Press Enter. Seems to work. The documentation seems to have been correct. That is great. Now we're going to check if it actually works. On your HPC, create a script called with the following code. Control C, nano, name of the file. Nano is a text editor, and I say, hey, please create a file called this, Pandas exercise 1. Copy paste this content, right mouse button, paste. And I'm going to do Control O to save. I press Enter to accept, Control X to exit. Now I've created this file. Now I need to run this script. That will be Python Pandas exercise 1. There. What do we see? Well, what we see is the version of Pandas. We see this in our script. We can see that we show the version of Pandas. And so this is the version of Pandas. Next question. Even though the code shows nothing directly useful, why is this a useful exercise? Anyways, because if this doesn't work, Pandas does not work. This is a minimal test if it may work. If this does not work, you're sure it will never work. If this works, probably Pandas works fine for your purposes. Good. Next question. In this exercise, we'll first read the diamonds data set. As described here, download this file to the same folder as you are running your Python code. Good. I will show this because you need a command called wget. To download, so wget is webget, like get stuff from the internet. And we're going to right click here to get the URL, copy link address. Use Ctrl Shift V to paste. So this is apparently the location of this data set, and here I download it. To view that data, I use head to show the first 10 lines. I use the file name, diamonds. I use tab to autocomplete, so if I press tab, it autocompletes. And here I see that, hey, this looks correct. So here I show how the file looks like. From now on, this exercise is quite straightforward. You need to create another file. You have to take a look at the files being created. You create your own files here. You can do that with head. I've just shown you how to use wget and head. This is what you'll be needing for the exercise. With that out of the way, I've showed you how to use Pandas for the kebnekaise HPC cluster. With that, I wish you a very good day. Bye.